It's the day you've all been waiting for. My 20-week bump date. I know, you wrote it on your calendar. That's okay, I appreciate it. So I'm filming from New Orleans, which is an interesting place to be if you're pregnant, because there's a lot of piss in the air. There's a lot of, like, what is the word? Human. And when you're pregnant, you know you smell everything a little bit stronger, so it's interesting. You can't drink anything that comes in a fishbowl on a necklace. All the food gives you heartburn. But I'm so happy to be here because we are leaving on our baby moon tomorrow. We are obviously departing from New Orleans, and for Mother's Day, my husband, he's right there. Wave, honey, wave. He waved, okay. He booked a room at the JW Marriott, which we really like, and made reservations at Mr. B's Bistro, where they have like 14 desserts on the menu, so I was extremely happy. So 20 weeks, we had our first Mother's Day, which was kind of like, I just recap, pretty exciting. He also got me this Seraphine maxi dress that I've been wanting, which I really love, and I wore it last night. My mom, grandma-to-be, got me this. It's a bolo charm. Do you know what that is? Probably not, unless you're pregnant and a big Etsy person like me. So the bolo charm, you can't hear that probably. It's making little jingle sounds. I think it's a Mexican tradition, although they have baby chimes, I think in Thailand, a couple other places, but the sort of like legend or story behind the necklace is that it makes this tiny little chime when you walk, and so the baby gets used to the sound when it's in utero, and then you wear it down low, obviously, you can't see it, during pregnancy, and then you wear it up high, not that high, but you can't see it otherwise, when the baby is out of utero and he or she like remembers that sound and is comforted by it. Which I thought was such a sweet little story, and really like walking around with it, and I like to smack it against my stomach because I feel like, you know, subtlety is not my strong suit. So I go, jingle jingle baby, jingle jingle baby. I've done that like 5 times since I got it, and I've only had it for like a day, so poor baby. That's all I can say. And maybe the best gift of all, I got little newborn Grizzly socks, which was especially exciting because the Grizzlies won game 3 of our playoff series. So we were really excited, and I feel like that was my Mother's Day gift from the Grizzlies because I've done a lot for them, so I think they need to do something for me. 20 weeks was actually pretty interesting. So we had our anatomy scan at 19 weeks. I'm kind of like resigned myself to not knowing the sex of the baby yet at this point. My bump is, I know I keep saying that I'm huge, but I'm like so much. I mean, like 2.5 weeks ago, I didn't even look pregnant, like only to me, you know, until like I wear like a really tight shirt and do a silhouette bump picture, and it's like, oh yeah, you gotta look pregnant. But to the general person, they're just like, that girl drinks a lot of Natty Light. So now I look incredibly pregnant, to the point where I feel like people look at me strangely, like they look at me like my stomach like it's deformed, and then look at my face like maybe I'm just being paranoid, but I really think that they're doing that. Maybe they're trying to figure out if I'm pregnant or if I'm just a natural light connoisseur. With the big bump have come lots of like aches and pains and kind of stuff like that. Last week we were walking after work, and we went kind of far. I was just exhausted that day anyway because I'd been in a photo shoot like all day, like 8 hours that day, so I was already pretty tired, and I swear I was having Braxton Hicks. It was like such a, like an achy kind of pain mixed with like menstrual cramps, and it was a little bit shocking. So I just lay down and drank some water, and they went away. But had a few other instances. You know, we've driven a lot this week, so I feel like my bump kind of molds into position when we're driving, and then when I get out and I like unfold, it's like, what? I thought we were gonna sit for the rest of the time, and it's weird and achy. And we were in this gas station in the middle of like, I don't even know what state we were in at this point, and I was having this like weird like stitch kind of feeling almost on my left side. I kept holding it like this and going like, the cashier dude at the gas station was like, are you okay? Like, I think he thought I was gonna like pop the baby out just right there, but we've got many more moons to go for that. Well, maybe not like that many moons, but multiple moons. We went to my cousin's wedding this weekend with all of her family. That was really exciting, and I cannot hang with anything. So the wedding started at like 5, and by 8:30 I was like, would it be weird if I put my head down and took a nap? Would people like forgive it because I'm enormous? Especially in a dress where you can't see like the bottom of the bump, like where it ends. It looks like it's just like, it starts right under my boobs and just goes to my knees, you know? So I don't think that anyone would have been like genuinely offended, but I stayed up the whole time, but I wanted to take a nap. I don't know, like I was exhausted the first trimester, but my body just tires out easily in the second, especially now that the bump is a bit bigger. So those are probably my biggest symptoms. Of course, I'm still having heartburn because like I said last week, that is here to stay. And those freaking Alka-Seltzer, I guess, heartburn chews are amazing. I can eat one of those and I feel pretty good, so it's not that bad. It's pretty manageable. Here's a little TMI alert. So if you are watching this because you're just like a friend of mine on Facebook, or you just like to laugh at me, or you are vaguely curious about, I don't know, pregnancy, the fact that anyone thinks they can start a YouTube channel, that I'm gonna give you 10 seconds of Game of Thrones theme music so you can mute the video. I feel like this is the only way I can describe it. Like my bump and my pubic bone are attached by like a lot of strings. Like they're attached by like a ton of strings and they're too tight. So when I'm walking hurts, like crossing my legs kind of hurts. It's really odd, like especially when I've been sitting in the car for a long time. I walk like I'm in labor. It's so strange. So this is, I don't really know how to describe it to find out if other people have it. It's like this tightness, like really, really, really close to my pubic bone. It's really so strange. This is probably the first week that I felt that. So I don't know. I think that my body's just kind of getting used to my new shape, different shape than I've had before. And it's just like ligaments and stuff stretching. It's not round ligament pain that you get like when you cough or you like move violently in bed or whatever. It's totally different. It's very odd, but it's kind of constant when I'm walking or standing up or whatever. So, oh my God, I thought he was naked. I've completely lost my train of thought because he's walking around with no shirt on. One thing that started this week, it's kind of funny. So I'm like laying on my side, right? Like this, right? And if I like lean this much on my stomach, the baby kicks the crap out of me. He kicks like where the bed is. So I always have to be perfectly perpendicular to the bed or just like lay on my back briefly until I can kind of recover or whatever. That's pretty funny. I feel like the baby he's like, no, mom. Thou shalt not be tremendously comfortable. I still can't eat a ton at any given time, but I found that like a couple hours after, you know, I'll be fine. I'll be like, I'm still full. And then like switch flips and I am like famished. Like I have to eat. And suddenly, I mean, this has been striking when I'm like at a Walgreens or like, you know, like driving by like a Chick-fil-A or something. Unfortunately, I don't have any like baked sweet potatoes on hand when this happens because it's kind of new. I feel like this is definitely a symptom of the baby going through a growth spurt. The hunger has gotten to the point where it's like, if I am not fed, like bad things will happen. That's new. That's an exciting one because I like to eat and we're going on a cruise. So I can eat at any time, all the time, constantly. At this point, I've gained like around 3.5 pounds, maybe a little bit more or less. I didn't weigh myself yesterday, obviously, because I didn't bring my scale with me on our baby moon. I did, however, bring a tripod, a monitor cable, and my laptop, and 2 lenses, and a battery charger, and an extra SD card because I'm really just dedicated to you. So please subscribe and thumbs up for the video if you didn't hate it, if it didn't make you want to cry.